Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to What's the Damage, and it's really freaking hot today and I'm not in a really good mood. My stomach hurts even though I already had lunch. I don't know if this is hunger again, I don't know what's going on, you know. But yeah, man, today is a good day to record What's the Damage and know it's all good. I'm going to be talking about a topic that I don't really know if it could be categorized as What's the Damage or the Mixer, but I decided to put it in What's the Damage because there will be a few complaints here and there, you know, so I don't know, guys. It's a very tender topic, you know, not something that's for the faint of heart, so I decided to put it in the WTD playlist, you know, it's all good. There will be some damage done today, you know, to your hearts and your souls, your brains and whatnot, you know, so let's do it, guys. Here's the thing. I have recently branched out a little bit into horror gaming, you know. It's not like the first time. I have played a few horror games in the past, but not to the degree that I started now, you know. I recently started playing The Evil Within, you know, which is a pretty good game, but it is very unsettling and disturbing, you know. It's not necessarily scary, it's just kind of creepy at times, you know, but it is still a horror game. Before that, I played Man of Medan, which I don't really... It was good, but it's not really the same because I played it multiple times, and once you do that, like, the charm kind of wears off a bit, you know. But this is my first time getting into The Evil Within, and I wanted to bring a little concept vlog to you guys. You're discussing something that I think is really interesting, you know, the relation between horror games and horror movies, you know, and how, in my opinion, games are much worse than movies, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's not like worse in a bad sense per se, you know, but in the sense that they scare you much more. You know, I have this opinion. Wow, the wind is really participating today, isn't it? It's really windy outside. You guys might be able to hear it. But anyway, so I think that I actually was talking about this with a friend of mine some time ago, and we actually shared this opinion that horror games are much more interactive, if you guys know what I mean, you know? Because when you watch a horror movie, you already know that everything is scripted, you know? Like, everything was put together by a screenwriter, then a director, and the actor is just doing his thing, you know? So you can watch a horror movie multiple times, you know, and there might come a time where you won't even be scared of it anymore because you already know when the jump scares are going to happen. I actually saw this new horror movie recently called Host, which is actually really intricate because the entire movie happens throughout a Skype conversation. No, sorry, Zoom. I'm pretty sure it was Zoom, you know, and it might sound a little cheesy, but just watch it later, you know, and you'll see what I mean. It's on Netflix, you know. It scared the freaking crap out of me, especially the ending, you know. It was actually at first it kind of sucked and it was really cringy, but as it goes on you can see that it's actually really expertly crafted, you know. And playing The Evil Within inspired me to watch this movie, which is on my list for a while. It was really creepy. It was freaking creepy as hell. I might even review it later, but the thing is that, you know, it's about friends who summon a demon and all that stuff, you know, and you see a bunch of things happening through the point of view of their laptops. But playing The Evil Within is a whole different experience, man, because I mean, horror games are much more in your face. Like, I already saw the movie Host. If I watch it a bunch of more times, it's not going to scare me anymore, you know, because I already know what's going to happen. Everything is scripted. My brain will already know what's going down and it's going to know what to expect, you know. Games are not the same because you never know what you can expect, you know. And even if you play the game multiple times, it's a game, dude. It's never going to act exactly the same, you know. An enemy that came out of a corner here to scare you might come out of a different corner next time you play, doing something else, making a different sound, holding a different weapon, you know. So it's really especially with games like Man of Medan or Until Dawn, you know, that are interactive, that actually you can, like, there are way too many different things that you can do, different directions that you can go in, you know, which ultimately scares the hell out of me. Just the possibility itself of you being able to do something different every time you play, you know. So in that sense, games will always be more realistic than movies, not just about visuals, but the actual experience itself. So think of it this way with me, all right? When you watch a movie, I mean, you already know that the character is going to die. Horror movies have a lot of cliches and tropes that kind of already give away what's going to happen, you know? So there are times when you just know when a character is going to die. It's very rare for it to happen unexpectedly, you know? It's not like Final Destination where you know everybody's going to die a certain way, you already know what's going to happen, and it still freaking creeps you out anyway because it's so violent and grotesque, or maybe that's just me, I have a weak stomach, okay? So when it comes to this kind of thing, I mean, like, you already know what's going down. Like, there are some tropes in horror that you already associate with the character already about to bite the dust, okay? So in games, it's not exactly like that, because in a movie, if a character dies, okay, it moves on to the next scene, you follow a different character, this and that, or the movie ends, what have you. But in games, that's not how it works, man, because you're the character, you're the protagonist. So whatever the hell happens is going to happen to you, okay? So whatever you have coming to you is gonna come only to you. okay? You might, like, for example, you might see another character suffering a really grisly fate in front of you, but then it might just happen to you if you don't get the hell out of there, you know? So sometimes I have a hard time playing horror games because it feels like I'm watching a movie, you know? Like, I forget to run sometimes. Like, I'm way too caught up with what's happening, and I forget that I'm supposed to control the character and get the hell out of there, you know? So it happened with me a few times while playing The Evil Within, you know? I was so mesmerized and just like startled by what I was seeing that I was like, man, oh, I have to do something. Then, but unfortunately, it was too late a few times, so I had to react quickly. But I unfortunately could not react quickly enough, you know? I'm stumbling on my own words here. But anyway, so oh yeah, right. So here's the thing. When you are controlling the character's actions, when you are actually there trying to make sense of what's going on and try to survive, things are different. Like, your brain in real life has a fight or flight response, you know, which I think is triggered very easily in video games, because I'm the kind of person who in a game I normally fight, you know, I don't usually fly, you know, because it's a game, it's a simulated world. I'm aware that it's just it's not real, so I will usually pick the more absurd option, you know, contrary to what I do in real life, because video games are escapism, you know, so you can do crazy stuff in a game that you would never do in real life because you're not a freaking lunatic, you know. So that's what I do in horror games sometimes. And but sometimes, depending on what's going down, on how the scene is playing out, it can be really freaking creepy, dude. It can be really hard for you to get a grip on the situation, you know, at least in my opinion. So what I think happens is that our brains associate horror games the same way you would something happening to you in real life, you know, because a movie is a movie, but if you play a game, you are inside of it, buddy. So whatever the hell happens is going to happen to you, like I said earlier, you know. So, and you can control it. Depending on what you do, you can control the outcome or not, if it's one of those games where you're gonna die no matter what, you know, those scripted events. But what's even worse though is VR. Oh boy, that's a whole different territory there. Oh boy, virtual reality horror games. I have seen a few YouTubers play them, you know, I've seen Markiplier do it, and it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. It's not something that's easy to stomach, you know, in my opinion, but if you know what you're doing, I guess it'll be okay. You can survive very easily, but I probably wouldn't try to. I probably would not try to do it myself, you know. I don't know, man. I saw Markiplier playing a horror game once, and he literally started crying. Like, he started crying and took off the headset because he couldn't do it anymore because it was so realistic. So that might just be a video for another day, you know, how far virtual reality is getting to. But right now, I already think it's really freaking scary, you know, at least in the horror game entertainment department, you know. They might make horror movies that are virtual reality, but it's different because, like I said, a movie is already scripted. A game, anything can happen, dude. Anything can happen. You know, there's this really crazy concept, you know, behind horror entertainment where, like, there's some people who think that, like, the more realistic the scarier you'll feel, you know, the more effect it will have. But they have a wrong idea about realism when it comes to games and movies, books, or no, not books, but mostly games and movies, TV shows, you know. People, they want to see a lot of explicit violence and gore, you know, and that's not horror to me, you know. The real, the exact, how can I say? I do believe that the true essence of horror is in the suspense, you know. Alfred Hitchcock actually he made this very famous with his quote that I believe was something to the degree of like, if you know that like, how can I say, like, if you're watching a movie and then a bomb explodes, you know, without you even knowing it was there, I mean, yeah, that's scary, you know. I mean, you're going to get jump scared. It's going to be really unexpected. But if you know that there's a bomb there, then that's suspense, because you never know when it's going to go off, you know. That bomb can blow up at any second, you know. So that's how you make suspense. And there have been a lot of different directors, you know, over the years, and game developers who have done suspense very well. I do believe that Man of Medan was really cool in the suspense level, because you pretty much are playing a horror movie, you know. You're going through what seems like a horror movie with all of the cliches and stuff, but like I said, you can actually control it, you know. Certain events escape your grasp, but in general, you're in pretty much control of the entire game, whatever happens, you know. I think it's actually really cool. I was considering playing this game for my channel, but it's the kind of thing where I would need face cams to show you guys my reactions, you know, which would be much better than just my voiceover. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll I'll reconsider. But The Evil Within, probably not though. I don't want to do that for YouTube. I don't. I'm almost done with the game, and once I finish it, I'm done with it for good until I play the sequel. Oh boy, if I play one, I gotta play all of them. You know, I gotta play the sequel because I also got it on Game Pass. But so the element of suspense building is really well done in horror games because you can build on what you've seen in the past, and also with movies. You know, so movies, they get a little old. But like for example, the movie that I saw, Host, that I talked about earlier, it was pretty good in the suspense department. I think it was actually really well done, but it was a little. There were a few cringy moments, you know, a few cliches, but. Like, I don't know, the movie starts off and it feels a little off. It's like, nah, this kind of sucks. But as you keep watching, it does get better and better until eventually the suspense builds to a crescendo and all hell breaks loose, you know? There's no more suspense, but the demons start popping out of nowhere and attacking everyone. Spoiler alert, by the way. But, yeah. So I think that being inside of a game is much more personal, you know, because you actually control the character, man. It's like you're there, you know. So sometimes when I'm playing The Evil Within, I gotta be honest, there are times when I have to pause because like I have to like, okay, let me just pause and breathe for a second and try to think about what to do. Because if you've played the game, then you know what I mean. You know, freaking Laura, you know, she pops up out of nowhere sometimes, and you're only going to know who she is if you played the first Evil Within. But whenever she does pop up, I literally just like, I pause the game. Like I pause it just for a few seconds or a minute or so just to get my bearings, take a deep breath, go drink some water. Then I get back into the game because otherwise it's impossible. It's impossible. But that's what I think about this. You know, horror games will always be scarier than movies, no matter what. Like, for the scariest horror movie you have ever watched, I can guarantee you there is an even scarier game. Because no matter, even if it's just a mild horror game that's not as scary as the movie itself, man, just for it being a game and you being the one who's inside of it, controlling the character and actually going through what's happening, it's already scarier. That's just my opinion, you know. I think games will always be scarier than movies, you know. There are many action games that are better than certain horror movies, certain action movies that you watch, you know. Games are a very, very strong medium in this case, you know, like they really have a strong effect on people, me especially. So I think that games will always be more susceptible. Susceptible to scare you. So they will always be worse than movies. Do you understand my title now? They will always be worse, but in a good way. You know, they will always scare you much more and have a much stronger impact on you, you know. Playing The Evil Within gave me a couple of sleepless nights, but that's only at first, you know. Once I beat the Laura boss and I kept playing a little bit more, upgraded my abilities, got more confident, it became much better. But at first, you know, just like with any horror game you play in life, you know, at first it's really hard. It's really difficult, but I'm getting through it, you know, and I just want to finish it or move on to the next one. Play something a little more lighthearted later. But anyway, guys, that has been today's video. I hope you guys liked it. You know, if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments below. Shout out so I can know what you guys think about this, you know. And if you happen to like this video, well, go ahead and give it a like. And while you're at it, subscribe to my channel and consider hitting the notification bell because, hey, I release videos every single day, you know, sometimes multiple uploads. So, yeah, it's good for you guys to know when I'm going to be uploading. You know, it's completely at random. But that's it, guys. I'm anxious to hear your opinions in the comments below. So anyway, that's it for now. This is Chazzy signing out for now. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.